to the second part in my series about AI, the world's biggest threat. Okay, so I touched briefly on jobs being taken in my last video, but I wanted to sort of expand upon that idea in this video and, really go into the nitty-gritty of what jobs are going to be taken and what we can do about it. So as I said, 30 million jobs are at risk. Let's run through some of the jobs that are being taken. McDonald's, which is my main example, answering systems for companies and telemarketing, bookkeeping, computer support specialists, and salespeople across the board. Even jobs such as lawyers and chefs are at risk. Let's take a look at what my brief Google search found as some of the other things that are a problem in the job market with AI. So I already talked about fast food, but what about regular retail jobs? Well, in the case of regular retail jobs, blame the internet. People are becoming increasingly less social due to things like social media and texting and various apps on their phone that don't require them to go out in person and actually speak with actual individuals. So, unfortunately, people decide that it's much easier to just go online and make their purchases than to actually go into the store and be around crowds. It's due to them becoming more antisocial and just not wanting to deal with the presence of other human beings. If they're not shopping online, they're at least doing their research online to try to shorten the wait time when they get in the store. So they already know everything that they need to know about the product, making associates with product knowledge pretty much pointless. Add in a few self-checkouts and some self-price scanners, and bam! You don't need to have a lot of sales associates hanging around because everybody can pretty much work self-sufficiently and take care of themselves, which is what the public seems to want. But is that the best thing for them? In my opinion, I think that that's very detrimental to, society and humankind, because if you're not interacting with other human beings the way that you're supposed to, if you're not being social, then it can lead you into a state of depression, and it can also lead you into feelings of anxiety, and a lot of negative emotions can come from not having social interactions with other people regularly. So let's hire people to take the online orders, right? Wrong. It's all automated. So a human being doesn't need to do anything in the process until they actually get to packaging and shipping out the product, which in the next few years, for all we know, could end up being completely automated as well, and you could end up with a robot on a factory shipping line just wrapping up your package and slapping a label on it. Comes with some damaged products, but people seem to sacrifice things like that for convenience. So let's say a person doesn't want to deal with the online ordering process. They also have the option of calling up customer service. You would think the customer service would actually employ people. But no, you get an automated answering machine, and it takes you through a bunch of options, and it is very rare that you're going to speak to a real person during that entire process as well. But wait, there's more! In an article posted on August 14th, 2018 by Forbes, it said that even jobs like funeral directors are at risk of being replaced by machines. And you were worried about illegal immigrants coming over and stealing all your jobs. What's better than free labor just installing a machine? There has actually been speculation, as seen in this next clip, that the process of automation and AI could cause World War III.
In the next 30 years, the world will see much more pain than happiness, is one thing that you said. And that was involving the idea of how work is going to change and how conceivably the social fabric will change. That doesn't sound good to me.
Well, every technology revolution will cause social instability. The first technology revolution, I say, caused World War I. Second technology revolution caused World War II. This is the third technology revolution. People are already unhappy because a lot of machine learning, artificial intelligence killing a lot of jobs. People start to worry. The background, the education background, if you're not innovative enough, if you're not creative enough, your job will be taken away by a lot of machines. So this is the challenge. So it's the third technology revolution we may cause the third world war.
Now this was first aired on, I think, CNBC, and that is a mainstream news channel that you would normally think would be trying to, dumb down the public, and it is. The rest of the actual video, which I'm not going to play because it was rather long, but the rest of the actual video, the man says, oh, it's okay, this is a good thing, this is a good thing, technological advances is good, and he tries to justify it the entire time. So for the average, somewhat ignorant consumer, they might see this video and think, oh yeah, it's a good thing, and they might believe the hype. But if you look at what he is actually saying, he is saying that it will cause a lot of pain and suffering if you are not smart enough to, or not educated enough to get one of the jobs that is still hiring. So what jobs have already been replaced? Well, technology has advanced so far that, for instance, the world used to be covered with farms and farmers, and now you don't see that many farms because they have made it able to produce, crops and meat and all of that stuff in mass amounts at just one farm. And because of that, they don't need as many farmers in the little farms. They don't even need as many farmers in the big farms that they have, because a lot of things are done by machines. Manufacturing jobs have been taken over, obviously, because we all know that, you don't need that many people to work on an assembly line anymore when everything is being done by the machines. You just need somebody to inspect the items after they come out, and I'm sure that in the future they're probably going to look away at doing away with, actually having a human being quality check the merchandise. I wouldn't put it past them. Even NASA has advanced so far in their technology that they don't need as many technicians to analyze data that is coming in from space, because all the machines do it. So that takes a lot of really high-paying jobs and just scraps them. What's funny is that I did a lot of digging and tried very hard to find the exact number of jobs that have been replaced, and you see a lot of statistics, but you don't see exact numbers, and you don't see exactly where those statistics are coming from. I know exactly why that is. That's because big corporations don't want you to know exactly how many jobs they're scrapping, exactly how many people they're letting go, exactly how many people they aren't hiring, because that looks bad on them if they're not supporting the economy by hiring more people, right? So I'm thinking that if you don't give the exact numbers of people that are being laid off or jobs that are being replaced, then your company can continue on and look good, and they can post the numbers of people that they're hiring and be like, oh, hey, this is really high, this is good, we have all these technological advances and we're still hiring X amount of people, without telling you how many people are not getting the jobs and how many jobs could potentially be created if they weren't using machines. Wake up. They're slowly filtering this into society, just little changes at a time so that we don't notice it. The more people are aware of it, the more people are going to speak out against it, the more chance we have of potentially changing it. It's little changes, like when you call up Apple and you get a automated system and you need to say the exact thing to them and the exact thing to this automated system so that it takes you to a real person. If you don't say the right phrase, then it'll take you to another automated system that'll try to diagnose your issue, and you know, you're constantly pushing buttons and just talking. And the scariest thing about that is that it's like when you call up, it tells you that it's an intellectual or an intelligent automated system that can handle complete sentences. So tell it exactly what you're calling to complain about or get done. You know, that there is a startling example of AI that people just don't even notice. Remember that show Pinkie and the Brain? One of Brain's, famous plots is getting people stuck in endless loops of something so that while they're distracted, he can take over the world. Somewhere in an office, there's a mouse with a big head that is trying to take over the world by getting us stuck in endless loops. Figuratively speaking, of course. But you get what I'm trying to say, right?
Where are you going, Brain?
Back to the cage to plan for tomorrow night.
Why? What are we going to do tomorrow night?
The same thing we do every night, Pinkie. Try to take over the world.
So what can we do about this? We can get off our butts and shop in stores. We can stand in that line and wait for that checker that's overworked to try to send a message to the company that shows them that there are too many customers who refuse to use the automated checkouts, and maybe potentially they will hire more workers. Patronize small businesses and give them good reviews, because those small businesses are the ones that are probably not going to be going over to the automated systems, and those are potentially the future of America. When you go to McDonald's, refuse to go to that automated checkout line and insist on seeing a real human being and interacting with a real human being. That sends a message to the company that people don't want to take their own order. People actually want to be served. And basically, don't accept any of this automated bullshit. Do whatever you can to speak to a real person. And send messages to companies when you're having difficulty speaking to a real person. Emails or phone calls to corporate. Whatever you can do. Try to get the message across to them so that more people are telling them that they don't want to be speaking to machines. Maybe if enough voices can be out there and heard, maybe somebody will finally listen. But the most important thing that you can do is just be aware. Be aware of what's going on. Do your research. Find out what jobs are being affected by this. Find out more than what I'm telling you in this video. The more awake you are to what's going on, the less they can have an effect on you. And that's all for now. But remember, like and subscribe for more content, especially if you want to see the other videos in my series.